As one too great for him, he worships her. He adores her as his regent of desire. He yields to her as the mover of his will. He burns the incense of his nights and days, offering his life a splendor of sacrifice.
Good reading, much improved. So, very clear, I think. We don't have to talk about it too much. But we see that even Purusha says that she's too great for him.
Mm,
One too great for him, he worships her. He
mm,
adores her. This is regent. A regent is a ruler, a king or a queen. Regent of desire. Here, desire, a very different word.
mm.
Uh, Yields to her as the mover of his will. And he even burns the incense of his nights and days, offering his life a splendor of sacrifice.
A rapt, a rapt solicitor for her love and grace. His bliss in her to him is his whole world. He grows through her in all his being's powers. He reads by her God's hidden aim in things.
Yes, I think this is so important that he's deeply engrossed, wrapped, someone who is deeply engrossed in something.
Mm,
It also, there's another word, another meaning for wrapped, which we don't often hear very often. And it means carried off spiritually to another place, another sphere of existence. But that's not the definition here. It's just a
mm,
very absorbed solicitor. Solicitor is a pleader, an advocate,
mm.
someone who pleads or intercedes or begs favors of, an advocate, solicits. So we see that his bliss in her, to him, is his whole world. So his bliss in the creatrix of the world, who's doing all of this work, who's creating all of life's existence, is for the Purusha, his whole world. He grows through her. So he grows through her in all his being's powers. And we have learned something here that from the highest level of transcendence, there's a game that the divine plays with himself.
Mm,
In his magnificence, he begins to come down. As he comes down further and further, he diminishes his powers until they're so diminished that one can hardly feel that there's light in the darkness, although
mm,
it's there. So he grows through her in this way, in this game, in all his being's powers. He even reads by her God's hidden aim in things. So this is something that we have to understand. Or a courtier. Courtier is an attendant to a king, and a retinue are also high-ranking peoples who are retainers or attendants. So we have two terms that are almost like attendants, courtier and retinue.
yeah.
So we move on to the next page now.
Or a courtier, or a
Yeah,
courtier,
courtier.
or a courtier in her countless retinue, content to be with her and feel her near. He makes the most of the little that she gives, and all she does drapes with his own delight.
Okay, we have one mistake, and you said content, which would be a
Then,
noun, but
right.
it's content. which
Mm-hmm.
is a verb. So he's content to be with her.
Yeah.
Okay, good, very good. And he makes the most of the little that she gives, and all she does drapes with his own delight. Drapes means sort of covers with his own delight. When we drape something, we drape something over us. Okay? Then we'll carry on because this is going to go on for a long time, this passage. We have to
A
see how
glance,
important. Go ahead.
a
A
glance,
glance.
a glance can make his whole day wonderful. A word from her lips with happiness wings the hours.
I think it's very simple. Huh?
Yeah. He leans on her for all he does and is. He builds on her, he builds on her largesses, his proud, fortunate days, and trails his peacock plumaged joy of life, and suns in the glory of her passing smile. In a thousand
I
ways,
think I would pronounce no, full stop.
yeah.
So he leans on her for all he does and all he is. He builds on her largesse, his generous bestowal of gifts, favors, his proud, fortunate days, and trails his peacock plumaged, not plumaged, plumaged, because it's the plumage of the peacock,
Mm,
the plumes, the feathers.
yes.
Feathers are plumes.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And trails peacock plumage, joy of life, and suns in the glory of her passing smile. Wow. Very soon we're going to come to these most important words, and we're almost there.
Mm.
In a thousand words.
In a thousand ways, he serves her royal needs. He makes the hours pivot around her will, makes all reflect her whims. All is their play. This whole wide world is only he and she.
And there it is. This whole thing has led up to this one line.
Mm,
In a thousand ways, he serves her royal needs. He even makes the hours pivot around her will, makes everything reflect her whims, her fancies, her caprices. All is their play. That's a key word. All is their play. This
mm,
is a game of the divine. Although we feel it as a field of joy and sorrow and love and hate and all of these things. There's none of that as we rise higher and higher. We don't see that anymore.
mm.
And ultimately we see, hopefully we see that this whole wide world is only he and she. Now he's going to continue much more.
This is the knot that ties together the stars. The two who are one are the secret of all power. The two who are one are the might and right in things.
All clear, no?
Yeah,
Everything clear?
yeah.
Okay.
His soul, silent, supports the world and her. His acts are her commandments, registers. His acts are her
Commandment.
commandments, registers.
Commandments are, of course, a divine command. It's a divine
Mm,
command. It's an edict. And then we have the term register, and
mm,
register is a kind of writing, a record of writing. So his acts are her commandments, registers. formal recordings, his acts. And what are his acts? His acts are supporting her.
Mhm.
Okay, carry on.
Happy, inert, he lies beneath her feet. His breast he offers for her cosmic dance, of which our lives are the quivering theatre. And none could bear but for his strength within, yet none would leave because of his delight.
I heard every word. Every word. Perfect. So that's what it was. It was you turning to the side
Yeah.
and out from the microphone. Thank you. So he is happy. He's inert. Inert means immobile here.
Mm,
It's not sluggish or inactive, or he's just motionless. He's unmoving, but he's
mm,
not lifeless. He's just inert. So he lies beneath her feet, and we always have that vision of the divine Shakti dancing on the breast of the Purusha.
mm,
His breast, here it is, he offers for her cosmic dance, of which our lives are simply the quivering, the trembling theater, shaking, just a tremulous movement, our lives. And none could bear but for his strength within. None of us could bear this except for the strength that we have within us.
mm,
Yet none would leave because of his delight. And, with all that we have to go through, this world is still such a delight.
mm,
Now I'm passing on the roads of Orville, the flowers of the cypress trees falling and gracing the earth. And it's so beautiful. And a week ago, before the two short rains, all of the shrubs, Mother has named humility before the divine in the physical nature, looked like they were dying. They just drooped and a couple of short rains, and they're so beautiful again now. So we don't want to leave this earth because of our delight. And we want to make progress also. And we do have the strength within to make that progress. Certainly it doesn't come from doubt, it comes from whatever is in us.
yeah.
Yet none would leave because of his delight. Carry on.
His works, his thoughts have been devised by her. His being is a mirror vast of hers. Active, inspired by her, he speaks and moves. His deeds obey her heart's unspoken demands. Passive, he bears the impacts of the world as if her touch is shaping his soul and life. His journey through the days is her sun march. He runs upon her roads. Hers is his course.
A lot to say here. His works and his thoughts, all of the divine's works and all of his thoughts have been devised by the creatrix, by Prakriti. Even when he becomes active, he's still inspired by her. And he speaks and moves with that inspiration that is given by her. And his deeds even obey the unspoken demands of her heart. And then he has a colon there. And then he says, passive, he bears the impacts of the world, the effects or the impressions of the world. As if, and here's that famous as if that Sri Aurobindo uses so often, as if her touches shaping his soul and life. His journey through the days is her sun march. He runs upon her roads. Hers is his course. Now, There's a lot to see here, and this is a little bit tough. Okay.
A
A
witness,
witness,
a witness and student of her joy and dole, a partner in her evil and her good. He has consented to her passionate ways. He is driven by her sweet and dreadful force.
now we see that he's not only a witness, because the witness sees everything, but he's a student of her joy and her grief and sorrow, dole, grief, sorrow, mental distress, even. We have many definitions for dole. You can dole something out, you can give something out, but that's not the sense here. It's here, he's a witness and student of the joy and the sorrow, because in this world, everything is duality. Everything. We cannot think with our own thoughts, if there were any, of anything other than duality. This one's good, this one's bad. This one is honest, this one is a thief. We are always judging. And, years ago, I don't know if I told you, but this quote came to me, and I've used it all my life now. I will never judge another person until I can see their soul. And when I can see their soul, there will be no need to judge. So, he's a partner in her evil and her good. Her evil and her good, that means in this physical world of body, life, and mind, not above. There's no evil or good above. Everything is perfection. But here, he has consented to her passionate ways, and he is driven by her sweet and dreadful force. Well, we can see that when nature, who is Prakriti, is creating every day and destroying every day. The tsunami comes, a hurricane comes, a blizzard comes, all of these things. But what is wind? It's all wind. That's all. It's just a form of wind. Well, we can't see that. A gentle breeze is wonderful for us. But when it starts blowing down trees, it's not so. But it's the same wind. Okay, so he is driven by her sweet and dreadful force. And we have enough time to go to the next page for just a few minutes. So we'll go there now. Ready?
His sanctioning name initials all her works. His silence is his signature to her deeds. In the execution of her drama scheme, in her fancies of the moment and its mood, in the march of this obvious ordinary world, where all is deep and strange to the eyes that see, and nature's common forms are marble wefts. She, through his witness sight and motion of might, unrolls the material of her cosmic act. Her happenings that exalt and smite the soul, her force that moves, her powers that save and slay, her word that in the silence speaks to our hearts, her silence that transcends the summit word, her heights and depths to which our spirit moves, her events that weave the texture of our lives and all by which we find or lose ourselves, things sweet and bitter, magnificent and mean, things terrible and beautiful and divine. That was a long sentence.
You're facing the sun. I miss words, but now I understand why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. He says to Amal, I only write lines about 6 lines. I only write about 6 lines long in poetry. And here we found 3 times that. So the divine is sanctioning name, and he even initials all of her works. And his silence is his signature to her deeds. He doesn't speak out against her or anything. And nature, who is Prakriti, is doing this drama scheme. And in the execution of that drama scheme, in her nature's fancies of the moment and its mood, in this march of this obvious ordinary, isn't that interesting? An obvious ordinary world. Wow. Where all, but then you see, and this is so important because he follows that with where all is deep and strange to the eyes that see. That has to be the inner eyes, the third eye, if you will, the eye of vision, the eye of true vision. And nature's common forms are marble weft. Interesting. Marble weft. We have the wool, the warp and the woof and the weft of things. We see here that even nature's common forms are to the eyes that see something marvelous, something truly marvelous. And then he says, through his witness side and his motion of might, she unrolls the material of her cosmic act. Her happenings that exalt and smite the soul, oh, her force that moves, her powers that save and slay, her word that in the silence speaks to our hearts. Look at how many her. Starting with her happenings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Her silence, her heights, her events, and everything, all of these things, the summit word, and all by which we find or lose ourselves. And then this great line that is one of the great, really great 2 lines. Things sweet and bitter, magnificent and mean, things terrible and beautiful and divine. You read everything. We've got, we'll have to do it next week because I have my Savitri Sunday now.
Yeah.
But there's quite a bit to read next.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much.